$350 worth of groceries? I don't even understand it. This doesn't even look like $350, maybe $100.
I just left from Walmart. I spent almost $200 on nothing.
Public service announcement. I don't know who needs to hear this, and my kids are not gonna like it. I am not cooking for Christmas.
Grocery prices are through the roof. This is wild fucking crazy.
This is the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. A can of green beans is $4.
Okay, what is going on at grocery stores? This is wild. I now have to shop at 2 different grocery stores.
Groceries are $20,000, $25,000 plus tax.
Americans are slowly waking up to a reality that would have sounded unbelievable just a decade ago. That walking into a grocery store, something once ordinary and routine, has now become a moment of anxiety, calculation, and silent panic, where people stand in the aisles staring at price tags, mentally subtracting items from their cart, not because they want less, but because they simply cannot afford to eat the way they used to. This isn't about premium products or luxury brands anymore. This is about bread, eggs, milk, rice, vegetables, and basic proteins becoming so expensive that millions of families are quietly changing how often they eat, what they eat, and sometimes whether they eat at all. In this video, we're not just talking about rising grocery prices, we're talking about what it means when food, the most basic human necessity, becomes a financial stress point in the richest country on earth. And more importantly, we're talking about how people are being forced to survive inside this system, one grocery trip at a time.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm over these prices on everything. I just left from Walmart. I spent almost $200 on nothing. On nothing at all. Nothing at all. You know, I ain't broke. I don't mind spending it. I don't mind spending it at all. Sometimes you be like, okay, I'm gonna spend some money for sure. Nothing on my receipt is over $15. Nothing on my receipt is over $15. And it's not a long receipt. I don't think I got that much for almost $180 worth of shit. There's no way. There's no way. I kept looking at the receipt, looking at my shit, looking at the receipt, looking at my shit. They had to give me. They had to give me. I calculated everything on this receipt. Like, there's no way. The receipt is right. The receipt is right. Wow. I feel like I didn't get shit. So I don't feel like it was worth $180. And that's disappointing. Like, if I would have got some big shit, like something on this list over $15, I'm like, okay. But I didn't spend over $15 on one item. I'm stressed.
Grocery prices are through the roof. This is wild fucking crazy. This is the first time I realized grocery prices are through the roof. Look at this. I spent $84. $84 and I ain't get shit. I bought breakfast and some drinks. I ain't even buy bacon. I bought a half a gallon of motherfucking milk. I ain't even getting nothing real. Check this out. Bro, that's my shopping cart. This is $84. Let's put it in the trunk so you can get an idea of what this is. Bro, look at this. This is almost $100 worth of groceries. A loaf of the bagel's gonna be gone in 10 minutes. As soon as I get home, bagel's gone. Right? Box of cereal gone today. These juices gone by the end of the day for sure. I got a half a gallon of milk. That shit ain't nothing. Right? The bread gone today. This is this morning's food for $84. Cashier was like, yes, sir, it is $84. Because I don't do self-checkout. I'm not qualified to be a cashier. And I'm like, nah, you must have scanned a few things too many times. Can we redo this? Because usually I just stick my card in the machine as they scan and I don't pay attention. But for some reason, today I'm paying attention. She hit me with that $84. I wanted to put everything back, man. Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. They don't even appreciate it. I swear to God, I'm going to walk in the house. I'm going to put the groceries on the counter. I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to come out. Everybody's going to be eating a bagel, right? And ain't nobody going to put no motherfucking groceries away. I just spent a week's salary on fucking 10 minutes worth of food in my house.
Does anyone shop at conventional grocery stores, just like solely conventional grocery stores anymore? Because I went to one, and I don't want to name out any names, but I went to one to pick up a few things, and I'm like, you know what, while I'm here, I'm going to do some grocery shopping. And I never do. Normally I go to like 3 or 4 stores. I mainly go to either Trader Joe's, Costco, get the rest of it maybe at Target or like another big box store like a Walmart where just prices are cheaper. I'm like, do you know what? I'm at the store, I'm picking up a couple things. I go into my conventional grocery store and I shit you not, the prices here are at least double on certain things, especially things like meat and produce and deli meat and bread. I'm like, what the, like, who's shopping here? Who's paying double, sometimes triple in some of these prices? I'll have, maybe when I get home, I'll pull out a couple of these things and show you what I got. Why would you do all your shopping at these conventional grocery stores and pay double and triple? I was just floored. I was floored by the prices. No wonder everyone's talking about food prices. I feel like this is just what I do, and this is what I've always done. I've always, like, Trader Joe's has the best prices. Like, you can't compare. And I'm like, if we had Aldi, that same as Aldi. They have, like, some of the best prices, but we don't have Aldi up here. So I go to Trader Joe's, Costco, get everything in bulk, and then I get the odds and ends at the bigger box stores. But holy crap, I was shocked.
Grocery prices didn't just rise overnight, and they didn't rise for one simple reason. They rose because inflation hit every layer of the food system at the same time, from fuel costs that make transportation more expensive, to fertilizer prices that raise farming costs, to labor shortages that slow production, to corporate consolidation that allows massive food companies to quietly raise prices without fear of competition. What makes this worse is that grocery inflation behaves differently from other costs. When prices go up, they rarely come back down, because once corporations realize consumers are forced to pay more just to eat, there's no financial incentive to lower prices again, even when supply chains stabilize. So while wages barely move and rent continues to rise, grocery bills quietly become another permanent expense that grows every year, slowly eroding household budgets until families realize they're spending hundreds more per month just to eat the same food they bought a few years ago.
Like, I'm all for, like, an overpriced pre-made sandwich, but, like, this is offensive. Look how small that is. I imagine that probably costs, like, $1 to make, if that. That's crazy. I can't even justify it. I love to blow some money, but I can't even justify that.
Groceries are $20,000, $25,000 plus tax. And everybody keeps saying, you just gotta shop at Aldi. You just gotta shop at Aldi. You shouldn't have to shop at Aldi. It's the point. Y'all missing the point. I should be able to get a name brand bag of chips for less than $5, not $33 plus tax. Okay? I should be able to get some fruit that won't go bad the next day from a regular grocery store. I should be able to get a nice grade of meat from a regular grocery store without spending my whole check.
Okay, what is going on at grocery stores? This is wild. I now have to shop at 2 different grocery stores. The first one, Aldi. Aldi is the GOAT because they will always have cheap, good prices. But I can't always get their meat because I've had bad experiences. So we usually go to our local grocery store called Wegmans here in Virginia. And it's great, it's fantastic, but I can't just shop at Wegmans anymore. It's so dang expensive. So I went to Aldi first. I spent about $83. I got all my fruits, I got all my veggies, I got my potatoes, I got my carbs, I got a lot of the things. I just didn't get a lot of, like, my yogurts and gluten-free items and so on and so forth, and my protein. So I go over to Wegmans. I get ground beef, Greek yogurt, some bananas because Aldi didn't have any, and then a lot of, like, gluten-free items because my husband has to do gluten-free. I spent $135. How? For a fraction of what I got at Aldi. How is that possible? Wild to me. I'm like, there's got to be a hidden fee in there somewhere because it just does not logically make sense. This is wild. I used to really enjoy going to the grocery store, and now I hate it. I'm just constantly annoyed because I'm like, these prices are going to rack up so quickly. So crazy that I spent 2.5 hours grocery shopping because I had to go to 2 different places. I'm so tired of living in this economy.
Thing I ever seen. A can of green beans is $4, and they're trying to claim that's a price cut. Yes, this is in California, but it's insane anywhere to see.
Y'all, I'm at the grocery store, and I'm so tight right now. This bag of grapes is $20. This bag of grapes is $20. Y'all, this bag of grapes is $20. That's too close to $100 for me for a bag of grapes. $20?
The real damage of grocery price hikes isn't just visible on receipts, it's visible in behavior, where people skip meals, water down food, buy cheaper and less nutritious options, or stop buying fresh produce altogether because it simply doesn't fit into the budget anymore. Families who once cooked balanced meals are now relying on ultra-processed food because it's cheaper per calorie, even though it damages long-term health, creating a system where being poor doesn't just mean eating less, it means eating worse. Parents are sacrificing their own meals so their children can eat. Elderly Americans on fixed incomes are forced to choose between groceries and medication, and working people with full-time jobs are discovering that employment no longer guarantees food security. A reality that should terrify anyone paying attention.
I just got back from grocery shopping, and let me just show you. First, let me show you what I bought. Guess how much I spent, because it's absurd. Orange juice, not even a name brand. Asparagus. Strawberries, don't even know what brand this is. Tomatoes, and they're not organic. Sourdough. And that concludes the grocery haul. Now, for the long awaited, I spent, drumroll please, $40. $40 on 5 items. Thank you. I just want to show you something. All of this, that included, apart from that, because we got that from Costco yesterday. All of that, and this, sorry, that was all $407 from the supermarket today. Like, I just can't. I can't deal with this. That's not even much food. Like, how are people affording everything? I definitely can't believe how much we're actually spending on groceries. It's pretty crazy.
I think this is the first time I ever recognized a pack of ground beef. A small pack of ground beef being $10 and up. A family pack of ground beef, almost $30. What the fudge?
There's a psychological toll to this crisis that rarely gets talked about, where every grocery trip becomes a stress event, every price increase feels personal, and every checkout screen feels like a reminder that the system is tightening around you. People aren't just angry, they're exhausted because constantly budgeting, calculating, and worrying about food drains mental energy, leaving people burned out before the week even begins. This is how survival mode becomes permanent, where life stops being about planning for the future and becomes entirely about getting through the next grocery run without overdrafting your account. Low-income households feel this first, but the middle class is feeling it now, and that's the warning sign, because when teachers, nurses, delivery drivers, and office workers can't comfortably afford groceries, the problem is no longer isolated, it's systemic. This crisis isn't temporary because the economic structure that caused it hasn't changed. Wages remain stagnant, housing consumes most income, healthcare costs keep rising, and food prices are now locked into a higher baseline. In other words, groceries didn't just get expensive, affordability collapsed. Now let's talk about survival. Not unrealistic advice, not skip the latte nonsense, but real strategies people are using just to make groceries last. Many families are switching to strict meal planning, buying only what they can stretch across multiple days, prioritizing calorie-dense staples like rice, beans, pasta, oats, and frozen vegetables instead of fresh items that spoil quickly. People are shopping multiple stores, tracking weekly sales, using digital coupons, store apps, cashback programs, and bulk purchases, not for convenience, but for survival. Some are cooking once a week and eating the same meal for days, not because they want to, but because it's cheaper and predictable. Others are cutting meat entirely, not for health reasons, but because protein has become a luxury item, replacing it with cheaper alternatives just to keep grocery bills under control.
Like, I'm all for like an overpriced pre-made sandwich, but like this is offensive. Look how small that is. I imagine that probably costs like $1 to make, if that. That's crazy. I can't even justify it. I love to blow some money, but I can't even justify that.
Public service announcement. I don't know who needs to hear this, and my kids are not gonna like it. I am not cooking for Christmas. No, ma'am. Not when vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste is $11.63 at Walmart. The macaroni and cheese will not be cooked because it takes $95 to make homemade macaroni and cheese. And then you might get a break if you already have the flour and everything to make like a pound cake or a sweet potato. Now, mind you, I made a pound cake last week, right? I was just bored. And I should start my baking if I'm cooking for Christmas, which I'm not today. So whoever said let pound cake sit for 24 hours to let the butter redistribute must have not met my family, because they don't let shit sit. When I tell you that pound cake did not make it to hour 12, I'm not cooking a turkey. I'm boycotting. I'm cooking turklets. That's when the turkey wing is cut in half if I do cook. I'm boycotting.
I spent $100 and it's just me and my husband. I'm like, how are people affording to feed their kids and their family? Oh my God. I spent $100 in just this. This is not a law for $100. It's so crazy how everything's just so expensive now. Oh my God. And I don't even have kids yet.
Anybody else feel like their grocery bill's too damn high? Me too. 2 years ago, $100, buggy full of groceries. Today, $100 might make you a salad, a gallon of milk, and you best get the 12 count, not the 18 count of eggs. Just saying.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. Budgeting doesn't solve a system where necessities rise faster than income. You can plan perfectly and still fall behind when groceries jump again next month. You can cut everything non-essential and still struggle when food alone eats up a growing share of your paycheck. This isn't a personal failure, it's an economic one, where responsibility is placed on individuals while the structural causes remain untouched. When a nation reaches a point where millions of people can't reliably afford groceries, that's not just an economic issue. It's a warning sign that something fundamental is breaking. Food insecurity doesn't happen suddenly. It creeps in quietly, disguised as higher prices, smaller portions, and temporary inflation, until one day people realize they're spending more, eating less, and getting nothing back in return. This crisis isn't about panic. It's about awareness, because when food becomes expensive, everything else eventually follows, and the cost of living stops being about comfort and starts being about survival. If you're feeling this pressure, you're not alone. And if this story feels familiar, it's because millions of Americans are living it right now, silently, every single week at the checkout line. If this video resonated with you, share it, because this conversation needs to be louder. Subscribe for more deep breakdowns on the real cost of living, and stay until the end of our next video, because this crisis doesn't stop at groceries.